Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisco Gaming, and in today's video, sponsored by the makers of Civilization Heirs and Allies, we're updating my hero tier list for Season 2. That includes both the heroes you can get consistently from Season 2, and also the limited time heroes that are available when I was in Season 2. Hopefully, they'll be there for you too. We'll talk more about that in just a second. If you haven't already downloaded the game, you can use the link in the description. Thank you again for using my sponsored link. It will support my channel. Now, I put every single hero in Civilization Heirs and Allies into a tier list. So if you haven't already seen that for Season 1, that video will explain everything you need to know about why each hero is where it is in this version of the tier list, which is Season 1. But now that I've done Season 2 and I've seen a bunch of Season 3, I'm actually updating this for Season 2. I know, a little bit late, but totally fine because we got there. But if you want the full details of like, why is it that Sun Tzu is S, or Caesar is S, or even Joan, who I'm about to relocate on this list, is in the S tier, or whatever tier, check the card that'll be in the end screen. That'll take you back to the Season 1 tier list, and it'll break it all down. Now, if you're hopping in and you're like, okay, Chisco, no, I'm here for Season 2, baby. Let's get ready to roll. Then, okay, let's rock. We're going to start all the way down at the bottom and work our way up. And down by the bottom, we've got Nebuchadnezzar. I honestly haven't seen him used much in PvP. And I'm going to put him, I guess, I don't know exactly where it matters. We'll put them over here. These lists, unlike other tier lists I've made that are, sort of by power from left to right, these are organized into approximate groupings of like, int heroes, vanguards, attack damage heroes, combo heroes. So don't think too much about left to right. They're mostly grouped like the same types of heroes together, but that's not an indication of their strength. The indication of strength here is that they're C tier. Now, with all that said, his retire skill is really good. And if I was ranking this based on retire skills, this would be a different story entirely. If you get Nebu, then retire him, collect the skill, call it a day. On the topic of C tier heroes, let's place Cyrus. I want to put Cyrus next to King David and Martel. And I would say that he's a pretty decent vanguard, actually, to clear debuffs. But he's also pretty inconsistent. So we'll put him at the C tier, and you'll see why soon enough some of these other heroes are a good bit more powerful. Which does bring us up to the B tier. And we're going to take, I guess I can scroll down a little bit here. We're going to take Bolivar and place him in the B tier. And the thing that he does that's kind of interesting is that he counters combo armies. He's kind of an anti-combo army hero. Now, he was a limited time hero at the time that I was in the season. I don't know if you'll be able to get him, but I thought he was pretty solid. The other hero I thought that was pretty solid was Ryu Sung Ryong, who I'm probably mispronouncing his name, but he goes right next to Spartacus over here. He's going to gain a buff called Counter Tactics and is able to deal int damage after receiving a basic attack. The problem is that his range is pretty low. So you're going to need a double title to really be able to use him effectively. But I think overall power level probably belongs at B. Now, this next hero is probably the one that I've mispronounced the most. And that is Sanada Yukimura, who I probably still mispronounced, but I think I was saying Sandana. Anyways, we'll drop him up here next to Alexander the Great in the A tier. So first AT hero from Season 2, every time active skills are triggered, he has a chance to apply a debuff to the enemy. And if you play him with heroes that can help you trigger active skills faster and more frequently, this is where he will really shine. But he is not the only A tier hero in Season 2. We've got an int damage hero I want to drop in this list, and that is Napoleon. Now, Napoleon likes to stun, which is pretty cool, and pack a solid punch with int damage. The only downside is that his main skill is an active skill. I really kind of wish it was an engaged skill. Either he will be kind of broken good when it all works out, or he can be disrupted and completely shut down. So if you create the situation where he will do well, I think he is very, very strong. Now, this next hero, I actually got And in fact, I realize now I was practicing placing this tier list. I have someone on here from season 2 already placed. We'll cover that in a second. But this next hero I actually got, and that is Gudit. And Gudit is kind of like a small version of Joan. Joan is all about active skill synergy. So you could slot her in if you wanted to trigger your active skills faster. If you're running an active skill army, she would be very strong. But Teho is the hero right next to her. That is actually a limited time hero in season 2. Whoopsie daisies. When I was practicing where I was going to kind of put these guys, I didn't reset them back. Anyways, he is, as I mentioned, limited time. So I don't know if you'll be able to get him when you're in season 2, but he's a unique engagement hero. He provides support to both combo and damage armies by allowing them to trigger their active skills or combo skills an additional time, which is kind of wild. And the preparation phase is skipped when the skill is used, which is something I really, really like. I've seen them used, and I think he is really underrated in the meta for season 2. Of course, he's very difficult to get, so that might be why you may not see him as much. But Teho, I drop him in at the A tier, which is obviously like all very powerful heroes once we've reached A tier. And the final hero I want to put in here is actually Elizabeth, who's kind of an interesting one. She makes a bond with your allies and with your enemies. She'll provide healing, okay, when bonded with your allies, and shares damage with enemies, which is pretty cool. I think A is appropriate for her level of punch, especially when we compare to the other things toward the top of this list here. And on the topic of the top of the list, there's only one hero left to rank. And if you're subscribed to my channel, and I hope you will subscribe, you know that I ranked the top 3 armies that I saw in season 2. And Trajan was a big part of that. We got to drop him all the way up top in S+. Top marks for Trajan. So why does he go here? Well, he's an attack captain with a passive main skill. He increases active skill damage and combat damage, although his best trait that puts him in this tier is allowing you to skip the prep phase for your active skills. He is dominating the meta. You use Trajan, you use QSH, you use Joan. And on the topic of adjustments, I don't think there's that much I would adjust about this list going into season 2, although maybe in future seasons I will adjust more, but I would put Joan all the way up at the top now. I would adjust her up. And that in this configuration, which is incredibly powerful, she really, really shines. Now, this combination is so powerful, I ranked it as the number 2 army in season 3. So there's absolutely some longevity to this combo. I mean, you know, it gets dethroned one season later, but every season I would expect something new shows up at the top of the list, quite frankly. So it is a very powerful army. I think the best thing you can do in season 2 is Trajan, QSH, Joan. And I detailed that way in depth on exactly what skills you use, all the way down to, I think, even the units you're going to use. So check the card in the end screen for my top 3 armies in season 2, where I explain way in depth how that works. If you enjoy the vid, throw a like on here, subscribe to the channel. Big thank you again to the makers of Civilization Heirs and Allies for sponsoring this video. And the other card that I hope you'll check out in the end screen, right over here, is going to be my Season 1 tier list. If you want the detail of like, wait, Chisco, you didn't talk about why Sun Tzu's in the S tier. Don't worry. I spent like 20 or 30 minutes doing that in the other vid. Check the card.